Hey guys, what's going on? Really Good Pie here, and welcome to another tutorial. In this tutorial, we're creating a world map for a game or any other thing you want to make. So let's get an example up here. So as you can see here, it's pretty basic to do. We have the snow biome, the mountain biome, we have some grass, we have the desert, we have some forest, and obviously we have some water. Now, like I said before, it's extremely easy to do if you're familiar with editing at all. If not, it can be, I'd say, medium difficulty, but it doesn't really matter. Now, to do this, we'll be using Inkscape. So let's go ahead, and first thing you're going to want to do is switch to landscape mode. To do this, head over to document properties and select the landscape radio box. Now, what we're going to do first is zoom out, so just hit shift and your middle mouse wheel. Pan around using your mouse wheel, and we'll just drag that there because we're going to get a big dialog box here. So what we do first is create our little box. So let's go ahead and select that. Now it is green at the moment, but we are obviously going to change that because oceans aren't green. Let's go to Object, Fill and Stroke. Now head over to your gradient button here. We're going to edit that. So the first stop, we want it to be blue. I want it to be a fairly dark blue, but not too dark. Alpha, make sure that's all the way up. Select your stop to, turn the alpha all the way up. We'll select lighter blue, maybe something like that. That's good, I think. So that's pretty decent for the ocean. Now let's go ahead and create a new layer. So mine is here. Layers, we'll create this one, and we'll call this one the terrain. We'll make sure that's positioned above the current because we want it to be above. We'll just put all these to the side, and what we're going to do is create three L shape, or an L shape, just one. So let's go ahead, and it should be fairly small. Doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, and there we go. So now we're just going to take off the stroke. So make that nothing, and we'll make the color of this a flat color, and we want this to be a green. So let's go to RGB because that's easy to use. So we want this to be a fairly dark green. This is going to be our forest biome. So there we go. Let's go ahead and duplicate that 4 times. 1. You can do duplicate by pressing Ctrl D. Oops. Go away. There we go. So this is going to be our 5 biomes. We'll have the desert / beach, the mountain, snow, and the grasslands. So for this one, we're going to make this a grassland, change that to a lighter green, make this one the desert. So, oops, RGB. Let's turn that. I want it to be a bit yellowish orangish, kind of. There you go. That's pretty good. Now we want the mountain biome, so we want that to be grey. Let's go ahead and change that there. So just mess around with the colours. You can obviously use HSL, which is probably easier to use for you guys if you're not familiar with RGB. So we'll make that a bit of a grey. We'll make this one a white. Pretty simple. Now let's group all these things. So let's press Shift. Select each and every object by clicking on them, object, and we'll group them. So now we're going to mess around with some filters. So let's go to filter, ABCs, we'll black outline everything. Now let's go to the filter options. So filter editor, sorry. Let's drag this down a bit so we get full view. Now you'll get given this little tree diagram of filters that are applied. We want to head over to Gaussian blur and change that one to 1.0. There we go. Now what this does is it doesn't apply a black outline on every shape, it applies it to the outline of the group. So as you can see here, the intersection is not outlined with black, but if we move that away, it's outlined with black again. That's something cool to note. Alright, now we're just going to apply a light blue glow. This is going to be our coral reef, or coral, I don't know, the shore of the ocean. Let's go to filters, let's see where it should be, shadows and glows. We'll do a drop glow, radius 20, sounds good, 50% opacity, or let's change that to 75. Press live preview. Alright, there we go, let's apply that. Wow, oops, let's Control Z because I accidentally did it twice. Alright, so we want to head over to the flood options and we want to make this a light blue. Press OK, and there we go. So it's not really looking like a terrain right now, but trust me it will. So next thing we're going to want to do is apply the ruffin filter. So head over to filters, ABCs, and then ruffin. Head over to your filter manager, so filter editor, sorry. Now we're going to mess with the turbulence and displacement. So for the base frequency we want that to be 0.20. There we go. The octaves we want it to be about 5 maybe. And let's just see how that is. So it's not looking that great now, but we head over to displacement map. We want to make the scale to about 20. And there we go, it's looking a bit more like continents, so let's change that to about 25. See how that looks? Alright, that's better. Now, we've got our little continent-like shapes, so now we can go ahead and edit them. So, can we move this? Nope. Alright, put that to the side. Now, this is going to be really CPU intensive, so go to filter editor. I'm just going to turn that off. I'm going to name this the maker. And as you see, when we apply that, it's going to be really slow and choppy to work with. Now what we're going to do now is work with these filters on the go, so these shapes on the go. So our base layer is going to be our desert layer. Now let's select we're going to move these to the side, shapes, it's just so it makes it easy to work with. Oops. My bad. Alright, there we go. So select our desert layer. Now we're going to reshape this. So select the edit paths by nodes. We're going to do select corner nodes. Now we can obviously move this around, make it bigger. We can apply new nodes by double clicking, and this will allow us to move extra points. So if you want a river kind of thing, you want to not obviously, but do a little spike, and that should create like a nice little flow. Let's go ahead and create this like that. Create a little lake here. So just mess around with it as much as you want to. We'll move that there. Oops. I just want one layer. 1 point. Alright, there we go. That's going to be like a little lake type thing. There we go. Now we're going to duplicate that by pressing Ctrl D again. And we're going to make this color a green, a forest green. So let's go to RGB. Do we have the color picker? Yes we do, color dropper. We'll select this color here. Now we're going to move the points of this just a tiny bit, and that's going to create our beach effect. You could alternatively scale it down a bit, but just like messing around with it. Scale's too mainstream. Alright, there we go. I'm going to create a little bit of an indent here, so this is going to be like a little lake type thing within the land. Now this can be quite difficult to do, so forgive me. Let's go ahead and create another thing, put that there, and there we go. That's our little lake, so we'll just go ahead and morph the green around it. Probably should have done this before you duplicated, but it doesn't really matter. I will make that go in a bit so it doesn't. Alright, there we go. Just mess around with it, that's the key thing to this. We'll put that over there. Oops. And there we go. So if we go ahead and apply that ruffin filter now to the group, so just double click outside and then click on it. Now let's go to the filter option and apply the maker filter. As you can see, we got like a nice little terrain kind of going there. I don't like the spike there, that's kind of weird. That is definitely not good enough, so let's go ahead and edit the points on that. There we go. Looks like from Scorpion or something. Double click outside and apply the maker filter. There we go, I think that looks quite decent. So now we're going to mess around with some other terrain, so let's get rid of this, put this to the side, and that one. Let's go ahead and add we can delete this one now, because we'll make that an island, so let's go ahead and put that there. Let's edit the points of that, so we'll make it look like it's just come out of there, obviously that's natural. There we go, let's go ahead and make it more naturally shaped. Move that there. There we go, that's not a nice little island shape. Let's apply the mountain, so let's put that around there. Move that to the top, so select this little button here. And let's just make this like a little circle shape. Or a circle, but you get my point. Alright, there we go, so that's going to be our mountain. So select your white piece of terrain there, and we'll put this on top. So make that top again, and we'll just make this like really tiny compared to the mountain, because I don't know how mountains work, because where I live there's no mountains. But let's just put that there. There we go, that's our little mountain terrain thing. And we'll do the grassland surrounding the, oops, I'm pretty sure I'm on a different filter, but oh well. Alright, so we'll put that around the lake. So the key, like I said before, the key point to this is just to muck around with it. Do whatever is necessary, have fun with it, make it look decent. There we go, looks good. So select that. Now let's have a look at what it actually looks like. We can go to the filter editor, press the maker. Oops, we need to select the group first, so double click outside, select inside, press the maker. Alright, and there we go, that's a nice little, well, it doesn't look too bad actually. So if we go ahead and look at my maps that I created before, we have this nice little texture that actually looks really good. In my opinion. As you can see here, it looks like the crevices of a mountain. We have the forest terrain, the whatever you call them in the desert, the bottom, well, I don't know. And we have a nice little ocean texture. So